So today's topic is volleyball.
So what is volleyball in Bahasa Melayu?
It's bola
yang kita ni kapal.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Teacher Zima.
And I'm Teacher Rabi.
Yeah. So we're almost to the end of our lesson for the year.
Yeah.
So before we start our lesson, we'll recite Surah Al-Fatihah first.
Auzubillahiminasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Rahmanirrahim. Maliki Yawmiddin.
Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in.
Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin.
So for the start of the lesson, we will cover on the history of volleyball, and then we will move on to the different types of volleyball, different types of techniques in volleyball, rules of volleyballs, and volleyball drills.
All right, so this is the guy who invented the volleyball game called William Morgans. He said it's a blend of elements of basketball, baseball, tennis, and also handball. If you guys know those sports, he took elements from each sports to invent a new game called the volleyball. Yeah.
In Bahasa Melayu, we call it bola tampar. So it's derived from basketball, bola keranjang, baseball, tennis, dan handball, bola baling. Okay. Right. So in 1896, July 7th, the first game of volleyball was played, as you can see from the picture, located at Springfield College.
So in 1907 was the year where volleyball has become one of the most popular sports. So here is one of the, you can see from the photo, is one of the team played in America convention. Yeah.
Right. So from the photo, you can see these players, they were doing the set and spike. So these kind of drills, it were introduced in the Philippines in 1916, where the passing of the ball in high trajectory to be struck by another player. It's a very popular skills to be played by the athletes in volleyball games. It's a very strong technique. So I have a friend who is a Filipino. She's actually a national player. She always used this technique.
So in 1916, that's 20 years later, when the game was invented, it was started to be added into schools, college, physical educations. It took 20 years for them to actually make it into a curriculum where everybody can learn how to play it.
So it was changed from 21 to 15 points. So initially they played 21 points. So in 1917, they changed it to 15 points. So 2 years later, American Expeditionary Forces distributed 16,000 volleyballs to its troops.
Continuing on that, it's stimulus, meaning to say it memperkembang luaskan permainan itu. It was actually they spreaded the volleyball balls for the intention so that their troops won't be so stressed during World War I. So they provided it for them to play.
Okay.
So, but this in fact made it spread out to foreign land.
Yeah, other countries.
Yeah, neighboring country. Yeah. So that's how it became much more popular in 1990. Wow. So the rules of the game we're gonna explain to you in the next lesson, right? So this lesson we're gonna focus about the history. So in 1920, 3 hit per sides and back row attack rules were instituted. Meaning to say, kalau sekiranya kamu tahu sedikit pasal permainan volleyball ni, you have only 3 hits before the ball has to pass to the other side. Right? So in 1920 was when the rule was implemented. Right? So in 1928, it became clear that the tournaments and rules were needed. So they made an association to emphasize the rule so that nobody changes the rule. So the United States made the Volleyball Association. So that's when it was formed. Yeah.
If you know the volleyball game, there's actually 2 types of volleyball, right? One is indoor and one is beach volley. So in 1930, the first 2-man beach game was played.
So this is what happened in the 1940s. In 1947, the FIVB was founded in Paris. It is also the same as the association that was made in America, but this one is in Paris. All right. So in the late 1940s, forearm pass introduced to the game. Most of the balls were played with overhand pass. Okay, so we're just gonna explain to you what the skills will be in the next lesson. But for now, we're just trying to explain that it takes years that each skills were added into the game. So now it's like in 1940s, there was another additional pass skills that was formed.
Okay, so in 1951, volleyball was played by over 50 million people each year. Yeah, in over 60 countries.
60
wow,
countries.
That's a lot. So volleyball has become popular, especially in the 50s, right?
Yeah, it started to grow in the 50s.
In 1957, the IOC, International Olympic Committee, designated volleyball as an Olympic team sport to be included in the 1964 Olympic Games. Okay.
That's actually a big achievement, huh?
Yes.
To be put into Olympics.
Olympics.
To be played in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So meaning to say, Olympics are open to the whole world. So all the 60 different countries will be competing with this sport.
Yeah.
So this is what happened in the 1960s. Yet another technique has been added into the game. So it's the spike, the forearm pass, blocking across the net, defensive diving, and rolling. Volleyball is now slowly developing into more skills, so we can play much more efficiently. As what Chigu Rabi has stated, in 1964, volleyball was introduced to the Olympic Games in Tokyo. So Japanese has gave us the modern version of the ball, which we play right now.
So the World Championships in Mexico, this is another, it's like similar to Olympics.
Olympics, yeah.
But it's a different one. It were telecast in Japan in 1974. The following year, the U.S. national women's team began a year-round training regime. Men started in 1977. Okay, so basically, the national women's team started their training before the men's team.
So in 1980s, this is what happened in 1980s. In 1983, Association of Volleyball Professionals, AVB, was formed, yet another association with the volleyball. And then in 1984, the US won their first medal at the Olympics in Los Angeles, right? Meaning to say it's in America. And then the man won gold and the woman won silver. In 1988, it plays every 4 years, right? So the men also repeated their gold in the Olympics in Korea. Right, you can see the picture right there.
Okay, in the 1990s, the sport of volleyball was 100 years old in 1995. Wow.
Wow.
Alam lagi kamu lahir ni, 1995.
And yet the volleyball has
Played for
turned 100.
Yeah, 100 years. Wow. So in 1996, two-person beach volleyball was added to the Olympics finally.
Finally.
So sebab itulah there's two different types of volleyball, beach volleyball and also indoor volleyball. So
It's a bit different, huh? The rules are a bit
yeah,
different.
yeah. These two has already been added to the Olympics. Okay.
So, okay, we've reached in the year 2000. China, Brazil, Russia has now led the world's best volleyball players, right? So London has hosted Dorang punya Olympics in 2012, and then volleyball is the second most popular sport in the world. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all for today's lesson. We hope you enjoyed this lesson about history of volleyball. We'll see you next week in the next lesson of volleyball.
Yeah. So, all right, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, stay home, and hope Brunei recovers from this COVID soon.
Yeah, I mean,
Bye.
bye.